Where does a story begin? I've always been the most excited about the beginnings. Gandalf knocks at Bilbo's door. Harry receives a letter. Santiago sets out to travel the world. One of my favorite books, a story, a fairy tale, flies around trying to find a person who would like to tell her. She wants to arrive at someone who will write her down as she is, and eventually she finds a storyteller. There are stories that want to be told. Somewhere they already exist. The only thing left to do is to write them down. Be a transmitter. Adjust your antennas well to receive the signal in the best form possible, yet do not judge. Simply write. I'm starting spontaneously, because a story that already exists somewhere is ready to be written down. This story chose me, nevertheless it is still difficult to figure it out. I decided to record this journey, clueless what I will do once the story is written. This is my manifestation of hope that this story is valid, that it needs to be told. Is it really so? I don't know. I have doubts. But it is always better to write than not to write. Before actively writing out the story, I think it is important to do some preparatory work. For me, it looks like doing research online and watching documentaries about my chosen main characters, pelicans, but also going out. For a writer, and I think for any creative person, it is extremely important to experience the world in every little detail and to make mental notes about every experience. The way shadows lay on the ground, the way the breeze moves willow branches, the texture of the grass, the fragrance in the air. These are my favorite roses. This is the work that has to be done constantly. It will find its way in every creative piece. In writing, when we try to build worlds on paper, we have to introduce some truth to them. And it is all in the details and nuances of experience. The only way I know to write is to sit down and write. Get the first draft down, just get through, and then come back for refinement. Still, writing is never straightforward. It is a bumpy process. I'm at the point when I doubt every word that I write. I open other books and compare those texts to my words. Some days I just sit there and type without a stop. And some days, I just stare at the monitor. It is alright. Writing requires a lot of dedication and discipline, but also a ton of drinking coffee and staring into the window. Inspiration has to be found again and again. This looks so cool. This is exactly what I had in mind. Like with many other stories, halfway through the first draft, I realized what I was actually writing about. This understanding shaped the second part of my story. I picture the idea like an arrow, which directs you to where your story is inevitably going. It is so important to have guidance, because when you're writing, there's so many paths to take. And I feel like when you have this very strong sense of underlying idea, it's much easier to sort out which decision is the best for this particular story and this particular moment of this story. Of course, even if I'm writing about pelicans, the story is inevitably about me. And about my emotions and my aspirations. In a lot of ways, I find writing very healing for my soul. Curiously enough, it has the potential to be healing to others, though for them my story could be about totally different things. And that's alright. That's the beauty of art. Today is a very happy day. Today I'm writing the last chapter, which is obviously not the end of work on this story. There will be a lot of editing and then edit and then editing. The insight about the true idea behind my story will guide me through editing too. Today I am editing, but I'm doing only grammar edits because English is my second language. I just found that I'm too tired and too immersed into the story to do big meaningful edits right now. In the end, I did rewrite some parts. It was a process of questioning every decision that I've made. So I decided to refresh my relationship with this story and go meet some of my characters. Okay, my story is finally ready. I finished editing. It's just the first round of edits, by the way. It's very exciting, but at the same time, I'm exhausted. And I think the best thing to do right now is just rest and forget about this story and let it live somewhere in the back of my mind and wait till the day when it comes back and says, hey, remember me, rewrite me now. The first draft is just the beginning, or is already a beginning. The final book may look quite different from what it was in the first draft, but that is a whole other story.